Hey everybody, it's me, the boy, Frog Fan here. Welcome back. So, I'm still obsessed with frogs. 100%, without a doubt. There's no way you could argue against it. Frogs are amazing. From the top of these things, all the way down to the bottom of these things, the left to the right, like everything in between, frog is pure amazement. The thing is literally perfection. By proxy, of course, we have the Froglight. The Froglight's also all amazing. I mean, look at these things. How could you not like these things? Pearlescent over here, verdant in the middle, ochre right there. All of them different, distinct, colorful, and amazing. They're so good. Pure perfection. I think, so far, based off of the 1.19 mobs that we have, so one mob, the frog is definitely the best one. Easily. There's no competition at all. Like, quite literally. In one of the more recent Minecraft Bedrock betas, Froglights were added to the game. Getting Froglights is fascinating. There's really, like, basically almost nothing in the game like it. I mean, music discs, but anyways, we have a frog, we have a small magma cube. Frog eats the magma cube, and it spits out a Froglight right there, so ochre Froglight. Now, the color of the Froglight is going to correspond to the color of the frog. This spot right here is kind of a dream for multiple frog variants, because check this out. The swamp and in the plain, so that's going to be the orange frog everywhere, and then warm biomes like the jungle or the savanna, that's going to be a different frog color. Absolutely a side note, but now that we know the use of the frog, imagine a reality where there are 16 different frog colors corresponding to different biomes, of course, and with 16 different frogs, 16 different light colors too. Sadly today, that will stay a dream. But what won't be a dream? Froglight Farm. Okay, so today I have two separate Froglight farms in mind. I'm not too sure which one is going to end up being better. We'll find out. Both Froglight farm designs begin with the frog. If we want to farm the Froglight, then we're going to need frogs. And that brings us to this concept right here, the small glass box on the ground. And so, card on screen right now. In an earlier video, I designed a frog farm. Today's video, I guess it, in a way, is a little bit of a part two. First, you're going to need a frog farm or just frogs. If you're looking for a specific frog, then frog farm. The frog farm is pretty simple. We found out it's essentially a box with water inside of it, frogs inside of there, seaweed on the ground to breed them. Really simple. It's inevitable. In your world, eventually two frogs will find each other, fall in love, eat seagrass together, look at each other romantically, and then hopefully one of them will be able to find water and lay eggs inside of that water. Now, because of how baby frogs work, or tadpoles needing water, unfortunately, you're going to have to wait for the tadpole to grow up in the overworld. The frogs, to get Froglight, they eat magma cubes, which exist in the nether exclusively. So, step one of this farm today, no matter what you're doing, is going to be get a tadpole in the overworld and let it grow. Oh, that's an interesting spot to lay those. That's not going to be good for the tadpoles. I've thought about this quite a bit, and I'm pretty sure there's not a way to set up an efficient magma cube farm in the overworld, which means one option. Frog, move it inside of the nether. We're going to have to grow the frog up in the overworld, then move it to the nether. Now, moving frogs, slow. Very slow. The frog is like, I mean, it's got to be one of the slowest Minecraft mobs. Like, look at this thing. It moves so slow. So we could use seagrass to lure it. That would work. Leaves are going to help a little bit more because we can pull the frog, of course. So that's probably a better option. Boats, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Boats are definitely going to work too. If you have a nether portal in a spot where you could use a boat, 100% you could do that. Or finally, maybe best, a minecart. So frog can go inside of the minecart. Then you could run a line to wherever you need to go. Maybe having like an iron farm or like finding a couple mine shafts first might be a good idea. But frog in the minecart, that's probably going to be the best way. As long as you don't have to move the thing like thousands and thousands of blocks. Which is going to be the tricky part. Because for farm number one, you're going to need something very specific inside of the nether. And if you're looking for a specific color of Froglight, maybe like the purple one, then you're going to need a warm biome. And then move it all the way over inside of the nether. Now, inside of the nether, I've been exploring in this world for a little while, and I found it. This gigantic box right here. Froglight Farm, concept number one. And so this concept is going to be tricky to set up. This is definitely a late game option. We're going to have a lot of piglin brutes inside of here. 100% like gear up before you do this thing. Clear the entire bastion. Like get rid of all the piglin brutes. I think piglins will continuously spawn in here. So that's going to be a little bit of a bummer. Maybe have like gold armor ready too. But definitely brutes. Yeah, 100% the brutes are going to have to go. So get rid of all of the brutes inside of the bastion. Now, bastion. You're looking for a specific one. You need this one right here with the magma cube spawner. This is the only place that a magma cube spawner exists, unfortunately, so it's your only option if you're going this route. Now, if you're going this route, there are a couple different options like after this point. clear the thing out, get the frog in here. I guess, theoretically, you could just have frogs, like, sitting around, but probably, like, a terrible idea, because if the frog falls into the lava, unfortunately, it doesn't have a lot of health, so you're not really going to be able to save the thing. And I mean, it's unspoken, but also, of course, if blocks fall into the lava, they burn. They burn right away, so we're going to have to clean this up a little bit. Now, cleaning this thing up a little bit, gonna be tricky. We're gonna have magma cubes continuously spawning the entire time, so good armor, fire resistance, 100%. Also the piglin brutes, but yeah, of course, you took those out right away. Just like I mentioned, you don't have to worry about any piglin brutes at all. Go you. That's amazing. I think where we're gonna start with this farm is probably temporary blocks below the magma cube spawner. I think we might be able to, like, put an absurd amount of light in here and maybe cut out the spawns, but at the same time, I mean, lava all over the floor, that's, like, basically optimal lighting here, and the spawns are going to be continuously happening, so maybe the spawns from the spawner they're just going to happen. Now, what we're looking for, I think, is a basic spawner room. We'll use the floor down there, and then I think what we're going to want to do is go maybe, like, 4 blocks out in every direction from this thing, so all the way over to there, translate that down to the floor where all of the lava is, and that's going to mean pretty big space. We're going to need to clear out quite a bit of lava on the ground, which means temporary blocks. Now we want to keep this thing efficient, which means we want to drop the magma cubes away from the spawner. So I've removed all of the lava in that 4x4 box area. We're going to have to put walls on this thing for sure to contain the magma cubes, but floor, we're going to want to drop these things. So I removed 1 layer of lava. That's a good start, but what I think we're going to want to do is maybe remove a second layer and put the floor right here, because then we have at least a little bit of a drop. But definitely you could, like, drop the magma cubes a lot, like, as long as you're within 16 blocks of this thing. I guess this would start to become a lot more like modded or something, but imagine, like, having something in your inventory that would just completely cut out all spawners. Like, while you're within a certain radius of the spawner, if this thing is inside of your inventory, then the spawner just, I don't know why, but it just can't spawn mobs. Something like that would be, like, absolutely amazing for a build like this, because tricky. The Froglight is so cool, which is nice, but however, it's so cool, which means you want to use the Froglight, and if you want to use the Froglight, tricky farm. The materials actually required to set one of these things up are relatively easy to get. I mean, building blocks, thinking a couple buckets of lava probably, maybe some fence gates too. Yeah, all really simple to get, but the actual act of setting this thing up, that's going to be tricky. This is going to be one of the more tricky farms to set up for sure. Now, when it comes to height of this farm, I think we're kind of in luck here. I'm thinking the ceiling of this room could probably be essentially, like, even with that. So we take this layer out right there, maybe add an extra chain for detail, make it look like it's hanging from the new ceiling. The ceiling's going to be pretty simple. Right now, I'm looking at the floor right down here. Floor is going to end up being, for this design, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks below the spawner there. But 5 blocks, it's not necessarily the actual proper answer. 5 blocks is just what I'm going with on this design. I think 5 blocks is going to be fine. It's going to allow the magma cubes to still spawn. But more testing. You would definitely have to test this thing out a little bit more to actually figure it out. But anyways, with the box essentially fully built around this thing now, we can really finish up the farm. So make a box around the thing. That's going to be the longest step. Then I think it's a simple lava funnel. So lava back corner right there. Lava gonna go in this corner right over here. Definitely keep this thing fully closed in, for sure. Fix the holes in the wall. Lava in those 2 back corners is gonna pour to this spot right here. Then we're gonna do it again. We're gonna take the floor out in here, make sure it's all filled in. We don't need lava actually, like, dipping down like that right there. So fill the walls in, fill the floor in, and then move it down again. Lower the floor right here, have the funnel continue spilling across the entire room over to the front middle. So front middle is gonna be this spot right here. We're gonna do another fence gate, another fence gate, another fence gate. Big slime or tall, so we'll raise that up like that. Open the fence gates there. And then make a little bit of, like, a falling area, a dropping spot. So what I think we're going to do here is maybe a 3x3 one, so 3 back that high, 3 right there. And then we drop them, maybe a couple blocks. Definitely drop them enough to get the Froglights that'll come from this thing, like, far away from the lava, so they don't burn. Aha, so the funnel. I think the funnel is working. Like, the magma cube are definitely eventually making it over there, but they don't really flow in lava like I thought they would. I thought they were going to swim with the current and, you know, just kind of be pushed down that way, but yeah, they kind of just do whatever they want to do. Maybe that's not the way. Maybe we'll have to set up a lure instead. And these ones are really big. That hole is definitely not big enough. We're going to have to make that, like, really big. Probably, like, 5x5, or at least, like, big on the entrance. I think the depth is fine. Yeah, those are huge. Alright, new plan. I've set up a lure this time. I guess, technically, with a lure here, that means we don't need any of this lava, so we could just take the lava out now. I have a lure, so put a lure, an iron golem on one side of the room, and then the magma cubes will automatically, like, look at the iron golem and jump over and try and get to it. Boom, there we go, the funnel. Easy as that, which means the floor could actually stay raised up a little bit for this design, or you could just make it flat everywhere across this thing. No need for the funnel. Same thing over here, I guess, though. We have the dropping area, but with no lava, we don't really need the fence gates anymore. The magma cubes, look at this thing. They all just hop right over to the iron golem. That's the way to do it. Keep an iron golem inside of the wall, on like the other side of a trench, just like with a slime farm. And the magma cubes just figure it out. They just go right over to this thing. Now, over here, on the other side of this dropping area, I've set up a room. This room would be where I would stand and actually use the farm. I could stand down here, take my sword, and make the magma cubes a little bit smaller. Now, frogs. We will definitely have to work frogs into this design somehow. I was thinking maybe what we could do is... maybe could we do like a frog inside of there? And will the frog be able to... No. It doesn't go through the fence. I guess that makes sense. Could we maybe, inside of this farm with like a million magma cubes, could we put a frog in a boat? Will it still? No. No, it doesn't really... Okay, that's not gonna work. See, this is the tricky part, because if we were to just let the frog run around inside of that room, we would run the risk of accidentally hitting the frog, and if we accidentally hit the frog, yeah, obviously, the frog is gone, you have to lure a brand new one over here into the nether. Not good at all, so, we need to trap the frog somehow. Alright, a little bit more testing, and I've come up with something new. So I figured out that frogs, when they're sitting inside of a minecart, can definitely still work. Like, they can target magma cubes and take them out. So what I have in here is a frog sitting inside of a minecart at the back of this room. And then every once in a while, like that right there, it targets a magma cube and takes the thing out, turns it into Froglight. Froglight is picked up by the hopper on the floor, like all over the place, a little bit hopper intensive. And there you go, it works. Now, the one thing that I've noticed so far with this is the frog. Maybe it's like a weird Bedrock Edition AI, but sometimes it slows down. It tries to like seemingly lock onto one magma cube specifically, and then when it does that, it doesn't target any of the other ones. It might just be like a weird bug or something. Like, oh, no, I got it. It sometimes misses and stuff, but it works. Like, the farm definitely works right here. 5 Froglight right there. From like doing nothing. All that you would have to do with this farm is stand around, and make sure the magma cubes actually get a little bit smaller. Another thing that you could maybe do is make it a little bit bigger, because the spawner actually seems to be really, really efficient. But make it bigger and put even more frogs inside of this thing. That might not be a bad idea, or maybe a frog on like a continuous loop on a minecart. But I was thinking minecart at the back of the thing, locked in there with some trapdoors right there. You see, from my testing, I found that if the frog is locked inside of a minecart at the back of the room, it's gonna be pretty difficult to hit the frog from like the front side of the room over there. So it should be good like this, and then that's basically it. This is the only problem that I've found with this design so far. I mean, I guess other than the frog being a little slow, a Froglight can land on the top of the trapdoors. I tried taking the rail out, but then the magma cubes just push to the minecart like all over the place, and it's very, very chaotic. So on top of the trapdoors sometimes, which is definitely not good. Maybe a couple more hoppers around this thing might solve the job, but this is basically it. Froglight farm that uses a magma cube spawner. So definitely, this thing could use a little bit more polish, but this is what I've come up with today. We have a room in here, it's 9 by 9. The magma cubes drop down a little bit of a ways from the spawner, lure over instantly to an iron golem, and then they fall. They fall into this area. I haven't been doing my job down there. I kind of need to catch up and declog this thing, but I would be standing down there with a sword, making the magma cubes a little bit smaller. Meanwhile, inside of this thing somewhere, there's a frog inside of a minecart. The frog inside of the minecart is taking out the small magma cubes, turning them into Froglight. Easy as that. The design is going to require a lot of setup work, and it's going to be tedious too. Relocating a frog all the way to the nether, maybe even multiple frogs with different frog colors, depending on what you're looking for. Then clearing out the whole bastion, clearing out a bunch of lava near a magma cube spawner, building a room. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of work, but if you get this thing set up, it's literally free blocks and experience, and then sometimes, every once in a while, if you're taking out the magma cubes, you can get magma cream from this thing too. This is going to be a really, really good farm, if you can set it up. The other idea that I had for a Froglight farm needs to be set up inside of a basalt delta. Basalt delta biome, magma cubes, they spawn all over this thing continuously. I'm pretty sure farm number 2 is going to be way less efficient. However, it might be a little bit easier to set up because this time we're not inside of a bastion dealing with like piglin brutes or anything like that. I think how we're going to start is maybe a cactus trap right there, and then somewhere up here above the ground, so like maybe Honestly, like that spot right there, that could be good. Or maybe a little bit lower, but somewhere up here above the ground, we're going to set up an iron golem trap. Iron golems, as we just saw, are very, very effective with luring magma cubes over to an area. I think what we could do is set up an iron golem up in the air somewhere. Maybe it needs to be on a slab. Let's try this out. We'll have an iron golem sitting on top of a slab, surrounded by fences that won't burn, so that right there. And then we have a cactus right there. Next step is going to be frog. Maybe what we do is, of course, get rid of some of this lava in this area and then set up some kind of hopper system. Then around that hopper system, we would have a minecart with a rail, and then inside of the minecart, we put a frog. So frog inside of that thing. We would trap the minecart from moving, so like blocks around it, or maybe even just get rid of the rail. It's totally up to you. But hoppers. This thing is definitely going to require a little bit more hoppers than what I have right here. So what I'm thinking here is this one might be a little bit more automatic because we have a cactus. This cactus, if it works how I'm hoping it will actually work, we'll do a good job of chopping the magma cubes down a little bit. And then we have the frog nearby to take out the small ones just like that. Then we would have hoppers like all over the place on the ground in here. Probably like a pretty big space to pick up all of the Froglight. But look at this, the magma cube. This is going to be taken down by the cactus right there, just like that. Hopefully the frog will be able to notice in time. The small ones have like almost no health, and if the frog is being lazy, the magma cubes are just going to be taken up by the cactus. But it seems to work sometimes. Like, if a small magma cube gets to the frog first, it kind of works. Test run. Here's what I've come up with this time. An absurd amount of hoppers all around this thing. Created a really, really big perimeter. We have the iron golem up top to lure the magma cubes over. They're going to bounce against the cactus like that. The frogs should hopefully notice quick enough. Yeah, yep, Froglight right there. Some might get destroyed with the cactus. Yep, that's another problem. But anyways, for this other design, don't know if it's really a little bit cheaper, but probably easier to set up. Find a basalt delta, hopper perimeter, frogs all over this thing. They will eat the small magma cubes, turn it into Froglights, and hopefully the Froglights get picked up in time with the hoppers and put inside of this chest. It might be a lot easier to set up because you don't need a specific type of bastion or having to deal with anything inside of the bastion, but it's definitely not going to be anywhere near as efficient. One wild card that I've considered for both of these designs that might make them both a whole lot cheaper though, the LA. An LA, imagine having an LA just fly around and pick up all the Froglights. You don't need to like a million hoppers. When it comes to making both of these designs, at least a little bit cheaper, the LA. The LA might be the answer. Froglight farms, two separate concepts. That's kind of what they look like, and that's kind of all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Patron game, big shout out, Archangel, Ground Crazy Mate, Lord Zenerum. Thank you all so much for the support. What do you think the best way to set a Froglight farm up is going to be? Let me know down below. Down below the video is the like button. I would appreciate a quick stop at that. Subscribe for more videos just like this. Links are in the description. Check them out. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.